Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter.
We said at the start we'd come to celebrate, and I think we had. We've enjoyed remembering, and I'm sure you won't forget.
As one name fades away forever, another one soon emerges. This is the all-too-common cycle in the world of television, and back in the linear days of analogue, these events could be momentous. As Southern Television bid viewers adieu at the beginning of 1982, Television South, or TVS, was the name to come in and take up leadership of the South and Southeast region for ITV. Throughout the remainder of the 1980s, TVS would grow from strength to strength, both in its output of programming and in revenue. Despite coming to battle with the bigger companies of the ITV network regarding their influence and control, the fledgling newcomer was able to work its way up in the ranks, ultimately earning more advertising revenue in a year than Yorkshire Television, one of the most well-known and largest companies within the ITV network. This didn't mean untold success forever, as in the summer of 1988, TVS would acquire MTM Enterprises, founded and owned by American actress Mary Tyler Moore. The sum paid for this company was a whopping £190 million, a sum that many within the industry felt was grossly overvalued. Due to issues within the US syndication market, as well as other costly write-offs, TVS soon turned from a financial powerhouse within the network to one that was in trouble. Profits for 1989 were down by 35%, jobs were being cut left, right and centre, and all of this was happening at perhaps the worst possible time. As the world was due to enter the 1990s, TVS would have to fight for its right to broadcast in the region, as another franchise round was looming overhead.
The proposal is in the new broadcasting bill published today, which contains plans for sweeping changes to television and radio. The government says that the plans will mean more choice for the viewer. Critics say quality will suffer.
In 7, 6, 5.
The bill promises a revolution in commercial broadcasting. The government hopes more competition will produce more choice for viewers and listeners. The most controversial proposal, that a new Independent Television Commission, or ITC, should auction ITV companies' franchises to the highest bidder. Renamed Channel 3, ITV will still have to provide regional programmes and news. In addition, bidders must promise a sufficient amount of high-quality programmes, like this drama. But money spent on buying a franchise may have to come out of programme budgets, giving viewers a worse service.
The decade kicked off with the Broadcasting Act of 1990, a document that would tear down many of the old pillars of television and the way it was run in the UK, and it would also set the tone for many years to come, particularly in production. For ITV, it meant that for the next franchise round, as well as a cash bid, certain quality thresholds had to be met by bidders to reassure the Independent Television Commission, or ITC, that they could broadcast a strong lineup of programming to the region's audiences, and have enough cash to do so. Despite the turmoil going on within the company, TVS knuckled down and produced a very comprehensive, well-researched and arguably very convincing application to put forward. However, the board of TVS, so panicked that the lucrative southern region could be lost, decided they needed to bid big. And I mean really big. All competitors had to be outbid at all costs, and after calculating how much they could put forward, the proposed sum was £59 million, which wasn't just a one-off. If successful, this is the amount TVS would have to pay every year to the ITC. This astonishing figure made it the highest ever bid put forward by a UK television broadcaster, and one that the TVS board hoped would secure its long-term future within ITV.
The Independent Television Commission has announced the winners of the new commercial television licences.
4 television stations lose their licences in the shake-up of independent television.
Good evening. The auction of commercial television licences has produced the biggest shake-up in ITV's history.
Judgment Day arrived in late 1991, when the ITC announced which companies had successfully won the right to broadcast across the various regions of the ITV network. TVS had 3 competitors for the South and Southeast. Carlton, who had also put in a bid for the London weekday franchise, CPV TV, which not only had also gone for the London weekday, but the East of England also. And finally, there was Meridian, who had submitted a £36 million bid, still far away from the £59 million offered by TVS. At the end of the day, however, the ITC ultimately decided that they believed TVS would not be able to meet the annual payment based on what they had submitted. I'm not sure what they looked over to decide this, but the overinvestments in MTM likely didn't help.
The biggest company, Thames, the most profitable company, TVAM, and the companies serving the wealthiest region, TVS, will all stop broadcasting at the end of next year, and their licences will be handed to newcomers.
TSW went down to West Country TV, TVS lost out to Meridian, and ITV's biggest company, Thames, was defeated by Carlton Television. No one survives long in the television jungle without acquiring a thick skin. Among the losers, some were lining up to announce they were taking legal action or advice, others warning their successful overbidders would soon be bust. Central managed to win the second most valuable franchise with a bid of only £2,000, whereas TVS lost their less valuable franchise despite a huge, nearly £60 million bid.
And so, TVS only had little over a year remaining before it had to hand over the keys to Meridian Broadcasting, who would take over on New Year's Day, 1993. A rather ironic circle of life, don't you think? For TVS would be bowing out in a similar manner to its predecessor, Southern Television. From what I understand, there wasn't the same level of petty squabbles from upper management towards the newcomer, but like Southern, TVS wouldn't disappear from screens quietly. As New Year's Eve came around on the 31st of December, 1992, TVS had something special lined up for its loyal viewers.
And now from the studios of TVS, we say goodbye to all that.
Goodbye to All That was a look back at TVS's 10 years on the air, featuring a barrage of clips spanning all the different types of programmes they made, and short interviews with many of the most familiar faces, including this young man here. Yes, that is Art Attack's very own Neil Buchanan.
Lovely to see you. Thank you very much for coming. Now, you've been with TVS, golly, 12 years since the beginning?
12 years it is, yeah. And I've actually got the dubious title of being the longest-running Saturday morning presenter, so I don't know what that means.
Are you never worried about not growing up? Always doing
no, because I actually have such good fun. I mean, I've interviewed Dame Edna Everage. I've been to Buckingham Palace. I've flown on Concorde to the pyramids. It's been great fun.
There's also a fun little anecdote regarding popular game show Catchphrase.
I remember once we ran out of catchphrases. They were coming from America. Graham Williams was directing it at the time, and someone had let him down in America, and we had no catchphrases, so we start the day off, you get the contestants there and what have you, and we were just about to start game 3, and we'd absolutely, game 2, they'd gone through so many catchphrases they couldn't get right. We'd none left. The computers wouldn't load, what have you, so we were waiting on motorbikes, bringing them from Gatwick and Heathrow Airport from America. They were actually flying the catchphrases in. And one of the contestants, who was getting more and more nervous, they're brilliant, they're very up and high and what have you when they arrive in the studio, but the longer it goes on, the more nervous they become, as you know. And this chap was nipping back into the dressing room and having a little bit of Dutch courage. And he finished up legless. So then we had to send out for a reserve. And someone rang him up and said, "Are you first reserve for catchphrase for this?" He said, "Yes," but thought no more of it, went out to dig his allotment. So I had to send a car for him, go and find his allotment, bring him in. In the meantime, the motorbike broke down with all the catchphrases. We had to send a car out for that as well.
I don't believe it.
So we got back into the studio. Within 17 minutes of starting, the chap from the allotment had won £2,600 on a holiday to Jamaica.
You're joking.
Yeah, so he did well.
Hosted by Fern Britton and regional stalwart Fred Dinage, anyone who had come to love TVS's output would have been completely satisfied with Goodbye to All That.
Now, I don't know why they specially asked me to introduce this bit, but we really couldn't end without remembering one or two occasions when we were slightly less than perfect.
How tough is toughened glass?
Well, if you like, I'll show. This is a piece of toughened glass. I'll show you with this hammer.
Go on.
It's guaranteed, isn't it?
This is a door that's never locked, because it has no lock. A door that is always open to a house that will turn no one away. It's called St. Dismas, and it tells a remarkable story. A story of a man's faith in his fellow men and his love and care for them. His name is Father Andrew McMahon, and I'm just going in to talk to him. Well, I will in a minute.
And that's all for this week. Next time we report on why the Hampshire watercress line now stretches all the way to the Argyle. In the meantime, I've looked through the tractor hire catalogue and found a tractor to suit my needs for the weekend. So I'm off now to tour the estate.
So we put John on the F-Plan high-fibre diet. And 6 months later, he's lost 5 stone, as I found out when I visited him at his shop in Newport on the Isle of Wight.
Sarge, you'll never guess what? They've just arrested that bloke.
What bloke, Constable?
You know, the one that's going around upsetting children and annoying their parents.
Come on, Mr.
Whack-a-day, whack-a-day, whack-a-day. Ooh, cool.
But as with all good things, they must always come to an end.
This winter I've actually had to try and find myself some alternative employment again, which means I'm sorry I can't be with you here tonight to help celebrate this wake, but at least the best I can do is wish you all well. Hope you find some good fortune in the future.
Hello, it's my birthday today. It's also Simon Wiesenthal's. I'm sure he would love to join me in wishing everyone at TVS a very, very happy new year. And God bless and thanks for everything. Thanks for a great opportunity. Cheers. Hey, this is real, you know. This is real. Good old TVS. Classy act.
Thanks for over 100 TV weeklies with TVS. It's been great, and I've worked with some lovely people. So to all of them and all of you, have a happy new year.
Well, it looks as though I haven't entirely lost the magic touch, even without the tuft. Cheers to TVS. 3 wonderful seasons. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's awfully sad that you're finishing up. God bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are now just a few seconds remaining to us before TVS hands over the right to broadcast to the south and southeast of England. We would like to take the opportunity on behalf of the chairman and board of TVS to say a few very sincere words of thanks.
Yes, and first of all, a very big thank you to all the shareholders who put their money behind the company.
To all the advertisers who made the whole thing possible.
To all the suppliers who kept the company going.
To all the people who've appeared on camera to inform and indeed entertain us.
And to all the extremely talented and creative people all here tonight who've laboured behind the scenes on all the programmes.
And above all, to you at home. Thank you for all your interest, your support and your time.
You've been a wonderful audience, and Meridian are very lucky to have you. So on behalf of everyone here at TVS, goodbye, have a great new year, and thanks for watching. Cheers!
Happy New Year!
With a cheers to the audience, TVS bowed out after 10 years of broadcasting to the region. A special caption displayed underneath their symbol, bidding viewers a final farewell. Compared to the way Southern bowed out, this is a much more celebratory affair, isn't it? From the word go, everything about the programme is jovial, upbeat, with a fond sense of looking back and smiling rather than doom and gloom. I feel Southern tried to do this back in 1981, but the way the whole thing ended, as tender and as emotional as it was, it did scream more of a funeral than it did of a party. Whereas with TVS, even down to the last minute, the hosts, the guests, and I'm sure the audiences are leaving with smiles on their faces and a fond sense of remembrance. But as TVS made its goodbye, just like 10 years before, it was time for the new kid to step onto the block. Meridian Broadcasting would be a new name to the ITV network, and in its first few minutes, like any newcomer, it made its pitch to viewers about what they could expect from their new independent television franchise holder.
Hello, I'm Debbie Thrower and welcome to 1993 and a double celebration. This magnificent cathedral was completed 900 years ago this year, and your new ITV station, Meridian, has been on air now for a little over 9 seconds. You'll see plenty that's familiar on Meridian and some exciting new ideas. Programmes that give you a chance to air your views, that reflect the rich variety of different people's lives in the south, the southeast and, for that matter, the Channel Islands. You'll find ITV is set to become more accessible to people. What's more, the region will be split in 3. So for the first time, viewers in the Thames Valley and North Hampshire will have their own news service.
Their introductory programme, littered with well wishes from celebrities and comments from the public alike, is well produced and actually quite wholesome in parts.
No matter what colour, creed or race they are.
What I want for New Year is an umbrella.
A greener world.
Just peace and happiness. That's all I want.
New girlfriend?
No fires.
Good health.
Lion.
A house Sophie.
I would like peace in Yugoslavia. And I would like Disneyland in England.
Oops. I just want to be happy, that's all.
And your house.
Oh yeah, and I'm buying a house, so I want that as well.
I've got a baby on the way, so I just hope everything goes well.
Oops. That my kids grow up into decent citizens.
Oh, I know.
God bless.
Good. I'd like people to be less homeless. I worry about them.
I'd like to see England win the Test matches in India.
A little bit more money for my children.
I want to get my degree. I hope to pass my exams.
I'm hoping to have the first baby of the new year.
A new sister.
More babies.
No, I don't need more babies.
I have baby. This is my dad's.
Come out of this recession. Long walks with my dog. Right, Vicky?
Luck! Leave elephants alone.
To marry the lady I'm with. I'd like all animal cruelty stopped.
Happiness for my family and myself. I'd like to be tall.
I wouldn't mind a new bike.
Personally, I would like world peace.
There's not much I want, actually. I got what I have here.
There's also this random part about you being able to bring more alcohol back from abroad. These are clearly big priorities for Brits in the year 1993.
There's good reason to be here this New Year's Day. Until just a couple of minutes ago, this was all the booze you could bring home from the continent. But from now on, you can bring back 88 more litres of wine and over double the quantity of beer, about 110 litres to be precise. Only don't drink it all at once.
Good morning. It's New Year's Day 1982, and this is Television South, TVS.
When all was said and done, TVS's decade on air, like many broadcasting companies, was marked with ups and downs. It began as a fresh-faced entity, ready to compete with the big boys. After reaching their level and even outplaying some of them, at least financially, had it not been for those costly investments, there's argument to suggest that TVS could have remained in post beyond 1992. But as history played out, it wasn't to be.
In the south of England, TVS put in the highest bid, but the Commission decided they couldn't afford it and awarded the licence to Meridian Broadcasting.
And at least, compared to their predecessor, they chose to bow out with a cheerful smile and a wave, as the next phase of the ITV network was about to begin.
If you're a bit of a night owl and you're not ready for bed yet, well, Channel 4 are on the air for about another 50 minutes or so. They're in the middle of a film at the moment called Koyaanisqatsi, which contains some quite extraordinary and remarkable photography, and I highly recommend it. However, those of us here on TVS are going to make our way home. We'll bid you a very peaceful night. Good night.